Back in high school, my friends and I had a hangout spot like no other. It was this baseball field behind the abandoned grade school. We always thought that we'd get there one day and there'd be a construction crew plowing the whole place down, but they never came. At least not when we were kids. We all thought it was because our town was just too damn poor to do it, which is probably true. But it's not like it's a good real estate location either. It was built right along the woods, far away from most of the town. It was essentially in the middle of nowhere, just like the rest of our town. The reason we enjoyed going there so much was because no one else did. People would occasionally break into the school and do a little graffiti here and there. Sometimes the cops would show up, but they never came to the baseball field. It was a safe haven for the friend group. And that was really important because a lot of my friends didn't exactly have the best home lives. Especially one of them, Tim. His mom would always call the cops on him for whatever reason she could possibly conjure up that day. Yet when we were at the field, there was nothing they could do. We spent a lot of summer nights sitting along the rusted-out bleachers, smoking and talking about God knows what to pass the time. I loved that place. We all did. Although, even before it happened, there was this one thing that always creeped me out about the place. There was an old lamplight right along the bleachers that somehow still worked. The town must have forgotten about that too. It was one of those lights that emitted an orange hue, and since it was the only light there, we'd be shrouded in it. It didn't really light up a whole lot either. Whenever I'd get too high, I'd look off into the surrounding woods that was masked in pure darkness. I'd think about how someone or something could easily see us and we'd have no idea. It'd really get on my nerves, but then eventually someone would tell a joke or get my attention and I'd forget about that thought. For a little bit at least. I wonder how many times they watched us. I'll never know. During the beginning of summer, one night my friend Johnny and I were going up to the field. I must have left before he did, because by the time I got there, his car was nowhere to be seen. I decided to get a head start and go off to the field alone. This was pretty frowned upon in our group. Even though we all liked to think we were tough, walking through a bit of woods alone at night wasn't in our repertoire. I always kind of enjoyed the thrill, though. I went on past the school and through the woods to reach the field. I waited another 10 minutes or so, but he hadn't shown up, so I started to smoke. Another 30 minutes passed and nothing. At this point, the thrill had worn off completely. I decided to walk back to my car. I ended up jogging because of how uncomfortable I felt. I texted him a couple of times, yet he never answered. So I spent another 10 minutes in my car and then just drove home. When I woke up, I saw that he never texted back. I was a little pissed off, but I didn't think much of it. Until later in the day, when my mom asked me if I'd seen Johnny recently. I hit up all our friends, but they knew as much as me. The last time we all saw him was when we were at the field 2 nights ago. A day passed, then another. Soon enough, everyone in town knew. Search parties started running rampant. My friends and I even went on a few ourselves, but we never found him. No one did. To this day, the body was never recovered. At the time, I tried to make myself believe that he simply ran away. He was an adventurous kid. He'd talk about wanting to travel the world all the time. How this town made him feel claustrophobic. But deep down, I knew that he wouldn't leave like that. He would have at least left us a note. Probably on the bleachers where no one else would find it. After about a month, I went back to the field. This time, I went alone. I was so angry at the world that I didn't care if I got mauled by some sort of animals lingering in the woods. But just as I got to the end of the woods path, I noticed there were people on the bleachers. For a second, I thought it was just my friends, considering we had never seen anyone else there before. But they weren't. I never saw these people before in my life. 3 of them were on the bleachers, sitting completely motionless. They looked like statues. But they weren't the ones that creeped me out. There was another. He was dancing and skipping around. It made me uncomfortable at how happy he was, but it wasn't an ordinary type of happiness. At the time, I figured he must have been on Molly. Now I just think he's a damn psycho. Worst of all, he looked familiar. I couldn't pinpoint him, though. It's like seeing an unfamiliar face in a dream. I knew that I had seen them before, but I just had no idea where. I couldn't handle it. It was just so damn strange. So I tried to get out of there as quietly and quickly as I could. Luckily, they didn't follow. At least, I don't think they did. When I got back to my car, my first thought was to hightail it out of there, but I didn't follow that instinct. Instead, I drove around the school lot. In the back corner of the parking lot, I saw a car. I knew the model. It was the same one Johnny drove. But as I spotted it, the lights turned on. I abruptly reversed and got the hell out of there. As summer went on, I couldn't get them out of my head. I told all of my friends about it, and they agreed it was weird, but they didn't think much of it. I even stopped going to the field because of them. On a late July day, I was feeling pretty nostalgic and sad thinking about Johnny. I decided to look at the yearbook to catch up on some memories. That's when I found